Denise Thompson with the Big Sky Conference, and I'm honored here to be with our 5 female ADs. Everyone, this is going to be a great interview, and I'm so glad you can join us. Starting here in the back, we have Debbie Corum from Southern Utah, Lynn Hickey from Eastern Washington, Val Cleary from Portland State, Terry Golick from Idaho, and Pauline Theros from Idaho State. Okay, ladies, thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. And I'm just going to sit here and ask you a few questions. Just give us your personality, a little bit of your background, and we'll get things rolling. I'll start here with you, Val. Can you tell me what role do you believe athletics plays in a student's development?
Oh goodness, that's a lofty question to start off with. Just to start off with, I wasn't a student athlete. So every day I am just amazed about what our student athletes do and just what athletics does to their character development, their drive, their determination, and really, just what it means to the university as a whole as well. So I mean, it's truly a privilege to be able to interact with our student athletes every day, but I think what they do is truly exceptional.
Lynn, can you add on a little bit, having come here to Eastern Washington last year, and just kind of elaborate on your different stops of when you've had to be able to round that question out?
Yeah, I think what we all see in athletics is it's a great way for a young person to develop into knowing either how to lead a team or to be a team member. Which, if you look out in the world, how we live every day, everything we do is in some way a part of a team. And so getting that experience and then learning how to handle time management, learning how to handle stress and pressure I think athletics gives all those opportunities. And then just I think the important thing is they learn how to work with other people and people that are very different from them. So I think when you put them out into the world, that you've got someone that can really be very successful in their business life.
Can I add something to that? So to Lynn's point, I think the latest data we saw was 94% of the women in C-suites were student athletes. So to add to your point, the data actually shows that that's true. So.
There's so many great things that happens when you're being an athletic director, but can any one of you just tell us what is just one of the greatest joys that you get from being in this position?
I'll be glad to speak to that right off the bat. My greatest joy, my very favorite day every year is graduation day. And it doesn't ever stop. There's always someone who walks across that stage to get their diploma that I realize it was almost a miracle that it happened for one reason or another. And I always end up bursting out in tears over at least one student athlete that gets their diploma. And we all love winning. We've all been parts of winning really exciting things. But I think the true win is just is seeing that they have graduated, they've completed their careers, and they're ready to move out of the nest, as I say.
I think to see a group of people determine what their goal is, and then to really work hard together to achieve that goal, and sometimes it's not always a championship, but it's having really improved and getting to an opportunity to win a championship. It's a pretty miraculous thing to watch, and sometimes it takes a lot of luck for all that to fall into place. But once an individual goes through that and understands what it means to be a part of that team, that's just a great thing to watch. A great thing to watch kids go through.
I'll add on to that. I think it's also seeing kids overcome adversity. My adversity today is talking to you guys, but obviously seeing them overcome things that maybe something that happened in their family or an injury, and they come back and compete. It's just unbelievable how hard they work through it and how their teammates rally around them.
I think we're all in it for the same reason, and everybody expressed that it's in some way, shape, or form being with the student athletes, seeing them succeed, seeing them work through things. Everything we do is about giving a great experience and an enriching experience to a student athlete, and I love to see that every day. That's what makes me tick.
That's what I was going to add on to, is just every day there is something that happens in our departments that just amaze us. I mean, and it could just be a simple, walk into your office. It could be seeing a student athlete, start for the first time or whatever it might be. I think every day there's just something truly amazing that happens within our departments. And to be able to feel that we're playing a little piece of that, or that we're able to kind of document that memory, is truly extraordinary.
Can any one of you just describe your passion for sports? Maybe when did it start, and then how it translates to your current job right now as athletic directors?
Well, for me, I've been kind of a gym rat ever since I was a very young girl, and sports is the way that I met my peers. It was the way that I made friends, because I didn't make them so easy in other venues. It was the way I learned how to fail and face adversity, and it was the way I saw a lot of the country and the world when I was younger and as I came in to college. And then it's the way I paid for my collegiate education and just became built these lifelong relationships. So for me, it's been very pervasive in every part of my life, and gosh, almost everything I do is informed by qualities and characteristics I gained being a student athlete. So it's all encompassing for me.
I would say for me, the passion for me with athletics really came, my first role was an academic advisor for student athletes. That's how I got into the field of athletics. And just to see that level of challenge that they have in their everyday lives, whether it's managing their time or adversity on their teams or whatever it might be, and to be able to experience that with the students from that academic lens, really I think gave me the insight into just truly how special it is to be a student athlete, especially at our level, at the Division I level, just the opportunities that provides to students. So really just getting that energy to see how the students just interact every day on campus really is what propelled me to pursue this field.
Mine started, my dad was played for the New York Giants, and then went into coaching, and so I went to my first football game when I was 2 months old. And so I always say I'm in the family business, but I don't ever know a time in my life where I wasn't passionate about athletics. And saw from very beginning of my life the difference it can make in people's lives. So I've been passionate every day of my life about athletics, I should probably say.
Yeah, I grew up in a little tiny town in Oklahoma, and my dad was the only coach in the school, boys and girls, junior high and high school, every sport for 37 years. And I had 4 younger brothers. I was the only girl. So from the time I was 2-3 months old, he was carrying me around in practices. When I was in elementary school, he took me to demonstrate how to catch ground balls with his high school baseball team. That's probably why I never had a date. But it was a part of my, but when I look back, coming from that little town, if I hadn't had the opportunity to continue to play basketball at a pretty high level for the time I came out, my world would have been totally different. So I owe so much to the world of sport. And I know sometimes it can get over-prioritized. Sometimes everything can get out of, we put some things too much high on a pedestal. But overall, when I look at the experiences you can have and what you can offer young people and how they can grow out of it, it's just been a wonderful part of my life.
What would you guys say is one of the best assets that you need to have to be an athletic director?
Patience.
Patience.
Patience, lots of patience.
Energy.
Lots of energy.
A lot of energy. But I think passion, I think, you hit on it too. I mean, we talk all the time of the hours that we work and the emotion that you put into it. And you suffer with each of your athletes, and then you celebrate with each of your athletes. It just takes so much. So I think passion is a really big part of it.
I think it's just it's a great career if you really want to be a service leader. And because I think a lot of times when there's a lot of perks with this job, there's also a lot of difficult things you have to handle. But a lot of times people think when you're a leader that everybody's waiting on you and you get all the special stuff. I feel like my biggest role is taking care of all those coaches and those kids. I should be the first one to carry the box. I should be the first one to pull the van up,
Yes.
and not the opposite. But it's just a great way to be able to give back to other people.
Mm-hmm.
All 5 of you were together for the first time at the Women's Leader Convention. When you guys stepped in the room, all 5 of you together, what was that impact like to know that The Big Sky is a leader amongst all conferences with 5 female ADs. You guys are all meeting for the first time. And I guess to take it to the next extreme for the little girls and the young women like myself, out there still looking to grow in the business, what was it like to be, amongst the 5 of you and the energy, the experience all in one room together?
Well, first of all, what happens in Phoenix stays in Phoenix. I think you need to say that first, don't you?
But I got chills just now listening to you describe it again. Little chills went up my arm just because that's how I felt when I saw this group. And I was so excited when Terry came to join us because I had the opportunity to get to know her when she was on the women's basketball committee. And I'm just like, we're not just 5 females that have come together. We're five really good administrators who come together. It's fun because we each have so many strengths, and we can kind of build off of each other with that. So I think it's just very special.
Yeah. It's really exciting to know that there's a whole generation out there that now they're seeing these women leaders. They're seeing how women lead, like Muffet McGraw would say, and that's really important because anytime you exclude a large part of the population from decisions and from leadership, you're missing out on important perspectives. So it's just very good to know that athletics is continuing to change and that inclusion is real and that we really are moving the dial and moving it in such a way that we're making experiences better for all student athletes. This is not just about women. This is about making experiences better for all student athletes because we're bringing a more broad perspective, a depth of ideas, and I think it's very, very positive for everybody who loves collegiate sport.
In 2005, I made a speech at what was then NACWA, but it's now Women Leaders, and I compared women in athletics to a 4x400, relay, and I did that because the 4x400 is such a strenuous, long, enduring race. And I said, the baton, the first leg was let us play, and the second leg is going to be let us lead. And when I made that speech in 2005, Let Us Lead was really beyond reach. And I didn't really think we would see that second leg in my career lifetime. So seeing that now is just really special.
It's really something to celebrate, and this is really cool. But at the same time, I've really, what I was anxious was about us all getting to our first conference meeting together and seeing what it was like in the room. Because we're here because we're really good at our jobs. We're not here because we're girls. And I think the closer we get to that point that this is something to celebrate, but let's set that aside and let's get down to business. I think I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, I think too, that's what was so profound about being at Women Leaders is each day we go to work and just do our jobs to the best of our ability. We lead with passion, we lead the way that we feel best suits us, whether it's servant leadership or whatever it might be. And when you walk into that setting where you're already celebrating women leaders, and then you start having people come to you going, oh my gosh, there's 5 of you in one conference. I think sometimes you lose sight of it, because, I just feel super fortunate amongst our conference that we have a fantastic overall group of athletic directors that each and every one of us can call on. I do think there's something extra special, though, when I can send a text message or a call about something that might be going on, either unique to either what's happening with me at Portland State or unique to me being a female in this profession. But it's nice to have this bond, this sisterhood that's right there and accessible to you each and every day.
What are some of your tips to young women looking to get into the athletics industry? Maybe right now they're interns or GAs. What would you say are some of the things they need to do to be able to progress to being an athletic director or a deputy commissioner, deputy athletic director, just a senior level role within a conference office or a school?
I think we all have so many things going on in our mind right now. It's hard.
I think it's really important that you have a variety of experiences, that you don't get pigeonholed in one area. You have to understand, you have to be an expert in your field. You have to work very, very hard. And that the idea that just because of your gender or because of who you're going to move forward is not right. I think that knowing the marketing, how to build buildings. The fundraising side probably today is very important. And then the networking piece, not just, and this is one of the things we talked about at Women Leaders with a room full of ladies, be really careful that the only people you're networking is just the people you're sitting around. You've got to network with presidents, with commissioners, with, athletic directors at other schools so that they know you, and it has to be sincere, and it has to be a consistent networking that you can come up with a list of mentors that are going to help open doors for you.
No, it's not just about learning about administration either. You really have to understand every mechanism in the department and take a deep dive and really understand academics and compliance and mental health and athletic training and all of the different things that we touch in such a way that you can have a comprehensive vision for the whole department. And I think too, in athletics, it's very important at institutions that, young leaders kind of realize not just what's happening in their department, but the athletic department's obligation to the university to drive the mission, to drive fundraising, to drive enrollment. We really have to understand, and I think that we're really good at this at our schools, that we have an obligation to reach out and touch all of the students and help them have a great experience at Idaho State University or the University of Idaho or Portland State, because it's about higher education and making it better and more accessible and more robust for everyone. And I think that the leaders who see that as part of their mission are going to be the most successful in the university environment today, especially in a conference like the Big Sky that I think sees a very big picture of what we do in athletics.
And I would say dream big and then don't give up on your dream. You're going to have people that throughout your career that every once in a while you're going to run into somebody who makes you doubt, are you going to be able to do it? And stay committed, stay true to that dream that you have, and it'll come true.
You can truly write your own story, and every chapter is not going to be perfect, and there's going to be some down times. But if you will stay focused and continue on the path of what you want to be, you don't let anybody say no to your story. It's your story to keep moving forward.
That's right.
What is a piece of advice that someone gave you on your journey that still sticks with you today?
Be yourself. Always be yourself.
Always be guided by your values, and you'll just never be wrong.
Yeah, just trust your gut. And it goes right along with what these two said. I mean, you got to be yourself, stay true to why you're doing what you're doing, because believe me, along the way, people will try to tell you that you're not doing it the right way or that you should be doing it a different way, and you just need to stay true to yourself. I
don't think there's any shortcuts. I think the greatest thing my parents gave me was a level of work ethic, and that you have a responsibility to go as hard as you can with every opportunity you have. And I think a lot of times young people, they're so worried about getting the next job that they're not taking care of the job they have. The best way to get your next opportunity is do a really good job with your current position.
Well, you heard it here first. Be yourself, no shortcuts, and thank you so much for joining us today, ladies. We appreciate it, and everyone, thanks for tuning in.